Hello again, everyone. Mr. Cruze here with another Algebra 2 review for you. This time the 11.2 to 11.4 and samples test review, part 2 of the review. In this video, we'll be finishing it up. Remember, your test is tomorrow, May 3rd. Good day. Iron Man 3 will be coming out, so it'll be awesome. Don't stay up too late. Try and study for your test, of course. Just fair warning, most movie theaters do have Wi-Fi available, at least in the lobby, so you might be able to get this video while you're waiting for the movie. Anyway, here we go. So, we have a table here, people with associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees, as well as male and female, okay? What's the probability in this table that the recipient of the degree is male? Well, how many males total are there? So you take 245 plus 598, and you get 843. Out of how many people total are on the table? Well, that's 2,134. Okay, so you just divide that and you get 39.5%. Pretty simple. What's probably the degrees of bachelor's degree? Well, I know total on the table is 2134. How many bachelor's degrees are there? So I go on the bachelor's degree column, or row, I mean, and I just add those up. Okay, so what's 598 plus 858? Well, that's 1456. So I divide that and you get 68.2%. So based on these this table, at least, about 68.2% of degrees are bachelor's degrees. Okay. What's probability, given that the degree is an associate's degree, that the recipient is female? Well, first things first, I need to look at recipients who are female that have associate's degrees. So associate's degrees female, well, that's 433. Out of, remember this given bar? You remember B given A? A goes on the bottom. So how many associate's degrees total? Well, associate's degrees total is there 245 plus 433, which is 678. So you divide those out and you get 63.9%. So of all the people who have associate's degrees, 63.9% are female. Bachelor's degree, given that the recipient is male. So bachelor's degrees who are males, that's 598. How many total males are there? Well, you just add the male column, and you get 843. So out of the 843 males, 70.9% of them have a bachelor's degree. Easy enough, right? Okay, let's use the results below for number 11. Of all the respondents, 17% are male. Male respondents, 33% are left-handed. Female respondents, 90% are right-handed. Let's make a tree diagram first. So we'll start off with male and female. 17% are male, which means we are left to assume that 83% are female. Men and women are both left and right-handed. Okay, I'm right-handed myself. So the male respondents, 33% are left-handed, which means 67% are right-handed. Of course, they have to add to 100%, right? Female respondents, 90% are right-handed, which means 10% are left-handed. Okay, so part B. Let's find probability that you're right-handed if you're a female. Okay. So, if you remember this formula, you might want to write this down. Probability of B given A is the probability of A and B together divided by the probability of A, right? Really doesn't matter the top part. That's pretty easy to remember. It's what goes on the bottom, okay? So anyway, what's the probability of A and B? Well, what's the probability of being right-handed and female? So that would be 0.83 times 0.9. So I take 0.83 times 0.9. Now, what's the probability of being female? Well, that's 0.83. Oh, why did I put 0.89? I meant 0.9. What am I doing? Anyway, the 0.83's cancel, and you're left with 90%, 0.9. Okay. Probability of male and right-handed, well, that's pretty easy. You just follow the path, male and right-handed, and you just multiply as you go. So 0.17 times 0.67, which gives you 11.4% roughly. Okay. Probability of being right-handed, well, you have to not only include the male right-handed people, you have to include the female right-handed people as well. So 0.17 times 0.67, that's the males, plus our females, 0.83 times 0.90. So this part is, well, you can just multiply this out. You should get 86.1%. Okay? Sometimes they'll give you a tree diagram. Okay, so we're talking about, it doesn't have the explanation here, but we're talking about whether it snows heavy or light, and whether or not school is going to be open or closed. Okay, so let's find the probability of the school is open given that we had a heavy snow. Okay, so the first things first, you have to find the probability of being open and heavy divided by the probability of heavy. Heavy goes on the bottom. Okay, so what's the probability of being open and heavy? Well, that's pretty easy to get. Heavy, open. So you take 0.4 times 0.2, and you divide by the probability of being heavy, which is just 0.4. Again, the 0.4's cancel, so you're left with 0.2, which is 20%. Pretty easy. Okay, 20% chance that the school is open, given that it snowed heavily. What's the chances that it does snow heavily and we're still open? What are those together? Well, we just figured that out. It's, look, these are the same. It's 0.4 times 0.2, which is only 8%. 8% chance that it snowed heavily and we're open. Okay. What's the probability that we're open in general? Well, I have to count the heavy and open, and I have to count the light and open, right? So 0.4 times 0.2 plus 0.6 times 0.7. I know this is 0.08, and I know this is 0.42, so that'll be 50% total. Easy enough. 13. In a poll of 1,085 voters selected randomly, 564 favor President Cruze. Find the sample proportion. So I just take the 564 and divide by 1085, and I get a percent, which is roughly 52%. See how these problems barely take any time? Okay, you're just going through them. Don't rush through them. Check your answers, okay? In a survey of 530 randomly selected high school students, 280 preferred watching football to watching basketball. So find the sample proportion first. So 280 out of 530 basically means, according to our sample, 52.8% of our high school students prefer to watch football over basketball. But we know that's not every high school student, right? So we have to calculate the margin of error. Well, the margin of error formula is plus or minus 1 over the square root of n, where n is the number of people surveyed. Okay. Well, how many people did we ask? 530. So that's n. So you do plus or minus 1 over the square root of 530, and you should get about 4.3%. Okay. And then now let's find the interval. Well, that means you take your 52.8 and you add the 4.3, which gives you 57.1. And you also take your 52.8 and subtract the 4.3. That's where the plus or minus kicks in. Okay, so you get 48.5, which means it is very likely that between 48.5% and 57.1% of all high school students, not just the 580 or 530 we talked to, but this is the chance of all high school students that they would prefer to watch football over basketball. It's probably somewhere between 48.5% and 57.1%. Okay, that's it, folks. That's practically your test. All right. Please remember that you can always Twitter me at Mr. Cruze Math if you have any questions. You could always post a comment on this video, and you could always subscribe. Trying to get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the week. You can always subscribe for more content in case we have future videos, which we will, because you have your final exam in a few weeks. And you can always email me, ccruze@brownsburg.k12.in.us, if you have any further questions. All right? Again, good luck studying. I will be here in the morning. You may always come in and get a little extra review in. All right? Good luck, and see you then.